Alright, so we're just going to use our FOIL method to do these. We're going to get first term x squared, outside plus 2x, inside plus 2x, and last term plus 4. So this is x squared plus 4x plus 4. Same idea here. We're going to get 9x squared. I'm going to try to do a little shortcut. 6x and 6x would be plus 12x, and then plus 4. Here, x squared, what happens to my middle terms? Positive 5x, negative 5x, they give me 0, and I'm left with minus 25. Same idea here, 4x squared, 2x times negative 4 would be negative 8x plus 8x, and I get minus 16. These are examples of what are called special products, and that's what the next slide shows, some of the rules. If you don't remember these rules, it's okay, because you can always write it out and use the FOIL method on the problems. But if you remember the rules, it might help you, especially when we get into the next section or next unit on factoring. So here are the special rules. We have our special products. This is called the square of a sum, because we're adding some things and we're squaring it. So the rule is you square the first, you multiply the two terms together, AB, and you double it. That means multiply it by 2, so 2AB, and then you square the last. The square of a difference is really the same thing. You square the first, you're going to get a squared. Multiply the two together, you're going to get ab and double it. You're going to get minus 2ab and square the last. So the only difference between these two is this. And in this one, what do you notice? Well, the signs are different. And when that's the case, the middle term is going to disappear. So this is kind of one that's fairly easy to recognize. It'll just be square the first, square the second, but it will be a minus sign because you're taking a negative times a positive. So again, if you don't recognize these, that's okay, but this was probably the one that should be the easiest to recognize. And the reverse of it is called a difference of squares. So this right here is a difference of two squares. So you'll hear that a lot in the next unit. So let's see if we can apply this. And again, if you don't want to apply it, you can write out just a plus 6 times a plus 6. We're going to square the first. We're going to multiply these two together. 6a and double it is going to be plus 12a. Square the last, plus 36. So just a little bit of a shortcut. Okay, again, square the first, 16a squared. Multiply these two together, negative 12a, doubled would be minus 24a. Square the last, plus 9. Square the first, x to the fourth. Multiply these two together, negative 6x squared y squared, x squared y, and double it, and you're going to get minus 12x squared y. And square the last would be plus 36y squared. So don't forget to square the numbers when you're doing these also. Okay, here we notice the signs are different, so our middle term is going to disappear. Sorry, I forgot to get my writing tool. So it will be y squared, minus 6y plus 6y is gone, minus 36. 4y squared minus 49. 64x squared minus 25. So these are a little easier, and so it's helpful to remember that. But again, make sure you notice that everything's the same except for the minus and the plus signs. Alright, here's an application of this. I don't know if you've talked about Punnett squares in science yet, but they show the possible gene combinations of a cross between, that should be 2 there, pea plants. Each plant passes along one dominant gene, T, which is a capital T for tallness, and one recessive gene, which is a lowercase t, for shortness. What percent of the probability will be offspring will be pure tall, hybrid tall, pure short? So we're going to make, and I don't think I have enough room here, so I'm going to go to the next slide and make a Punnett square. So I'm going to take a square and I'm going to divide it into parts. And so I have T is pure tall and a little t, so that's what's combining here. And combining the other way is T and a short lowercase t. So what do I get? Well, I get here TT, both uppercase T, lowercase t. Here I get lowercase t, uppercase t, and here I get the two t's, lowercase. So pure tall would be both capital T's. So what percent it asks, that would be 25% because it's 1 out of 4. Hybrid would be these two here in the middle where they have the mixture, so that would be 50%. And then the pure short would be this one right here, so that would be 25%.